All right, it's Tuesday, November the 29th, and a little after 6 p.m. We'll call this meeting to order of the Murphysboro City Council. I ask we would all rise and invite Alderman Hughes to lead us in the invocation.
Whose still small voice we long to hear. Cause us to walk in your wisdom and rest in your strength. Give us eyes to see your will for Murphysboro and this community we serve. Order our steps and establish our thoughts that we commit to this vision. It is in the name of Jesus Christ that we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Barb.
I borrowed it from Pastor Marty. So.
Clerk Hunziker, would you please call the roll?
Alderman Hughes.
Here.
Alderman Curry-Witzman.
Here.
Alderman Campos.
Here.
Alderman Austin.
Here.
Alderman Brown. Alderman Pittman.
Here.
Alderman Urbis.
Here.
Alderman McComb.
Here.
Alderman Bastian.
Here.
Alderman Gladden.
Here.
Mayor Stevens.
Here. All right, well, we'll get into our agenda items this evening. Up first, we have the consideration of minutes from November 15th, 2022. Entertain any questions or comments on the minutes at this time. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Up next, we have the consideration of the accounts payable registers, list 511. Entertain any questions on Ms. Ripley?
There was one error that has already been fixed. There's a check in there to J.C. Blankenship that was supposed to be for
Okay.
already fixed that.
Thank you.
It's on page 3, I think. Yep, I'm sure Blankenship would like to have the 52K though.
Sure we would. Any other questions on the bills? Motion to pay the bills.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That takes us to our committee and commission reports. Up first, we have Budget and Finance chaired by W.J. Pitt.
Thank you, Mayor. We have no items under old business. Under new business, we have financial statement prepared by Scott Evans. Scott?
Thank you, WJ. I just have two tonight on the front and back of the sheet. The income tax receipts for the month, $72,452, so that exceeded the monthly average by quite a bit.
It's the
So
highest.
it continues to be a good, strong number. So we obviously have already exceeded last year's number, so I feel confident saying that we will exceed it by the end of the year. It's already there. So that's been a nice thing. Again, I'm thinking that that's probably going to drop off this next year. Just what I see with income tax returns and stuff in our office, I think we're going to see that drop. But time will tell. I've been fooled before on these projections. So on the other side, I've brought back a report that I haven't done in several months. As you know, as you've heard me say many times, the salaries and benefits are obviously our biggest category for the city, and the health care is one of those very nice benefits that is costly. And so it's good to track that and make sure that the program we have in place is working as planned. So through the 10 months, we have spent in general fund $364,215 and just under $80,000 in water sewer. So we spent $444,000. If you project that out versus what our budget was for those two items, we actually are going to come pretty far under budget unless some catastrophe happens in the next 2 months, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So as you can see, that's a very positive development, obviously. And I think the big reason, not so much the premiums, those were about what we thought they would be. We typically budget for I want to say it's like 40% on the second area there, the HRA one. We, essentially, if every single city employee maxed out their out-of-pocket simultaneously, as a doomsday scenario, it'd be like 300 and some odd thousand that we'd be on the hook for. And initially, when we did these HRA plans, I thought that might be the case, but our insurance agent quickly told me, he said, I've never seen any of my city or county clients even approach 50%. He said, you're going to have lots of people who just never use it. They're young, healthy, they're just not going to use it. So, that being the case, we have always budgeted around 40%. So we, the what-if scenario is, okay, if 40% of that out, what's that going to cost? That's what we budget. And I think the highest we've ever had in any of the years we've been doing this is maybe 38%, something like that. So we typically budget 40, and this year I think I projected we've only used that to about 26%. And so we've had a very healthy year so far. I would say reduced from that. So and so that's how we keep these premiums at an affordable level, is we agree to take on those small risks on our own. We haven't been burned yet, and we, obviously we keep money in reserve and stuff in our various CDs and stuff that we could access if we had a rainy day where everybody did get sick at once or something. But I'm thinking, well, if we didn't have a max out on that in either 20 or 21 with all the COVID going around, what else would make it do that, So that's why we're in good shape on that line, all 2 lines. So, and as you can see, it's about $6,500 per person is what the total cost is. So by the time you project it out for the whole year, it's maybe 8,000-ish, something like that, what it's going to cost per employee. So we continue to keep that under control. So
When does the insurance contract come up each year? Is it October 30th?
We
or?
moved it to January. We
Oh,
said
okay, I didn't
we
remember
like
that.
having this little 2-month period of time. where
Yeah,
there's
I
overlap.
always hated that.
And so Jamie was able to get the insurance company to read.
And we could go calendar year that
Yeah.
way.
And we've been talking to him already, and he
Okay,
is out there
that's good.
getting, negotiating with Health Alliance at this point, and I don't think he's looked at other ones yet, has he? Or is he still? We didn't quote with other companies yet. Or? Okay, yeah, that's right. Because they did come down to 4.5% increase.
Okay,
Which is
that's pretty good.
great.
That's great, yeah.
So we thought that was definitely the better choice rather than shopping out to 2 or 3 other companies and maybe getting the same number and having to go through all the headaches of doing that.
So it actually, that contract will not be up until January.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a calendar year. So.
Good, I'm glad.
So anyway, that's the 2 reports I had tonight. The other thing that you were passed out tonight is our first draft copy of the budget for our meeting Thursday night to review that. And then with that, you'll see a report. I have presented this report before. It's basically a 10-year look at what our revenues and expenses in the water sewer fund are before. That can be used as a guide as we go forward and try to look at the water sewer budget Thursday night. So just study that, and we'll have a quiz on Thursday.
Yeah.
That's all I have, I believe. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Scott. Next item is a carryover from last meeting. We had consideration of line of credit renewal with First Bank and Trust. This is one that's been at the bank for a long time. I believe it's been at 0 balance for years. It just comes up annually for renewal. I asked this last meeting and I still didn't write it down. How much do you guys remember what the
I seem like it was 600,000.
6.5.
You need a motion for that?
Yeah, we'll
I'll
need a
make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
It costs us a lot more if we let it run out, see.
And Jill, will you mark me down as?
So we have to pay renewal fees.
Yes.
Is there any public comment under budget and finance? Hearing none, we can move out of budget and finance.
Thank you, WJ. That takes us to Building and Grounds, chaired by Mr. John Ernest. John?
I think old business or new business, there are 3 items. First is consideration of purchase of property from Jackson County trustee. I missed the last meeting, so I was thinking that was done, but is there something new on that?
We didn't have enough to vote.
It's just a holdover from the last meeting. It's a property by Zion Church that the church is willing to take over. They've been mowing it for a long time anyway.
Well, it saves us a lot of money rather than have to go through court to get it. I'll make that motion.
Second.
First and second. Motion made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, no? All right, that passes. Next, discussion regarding the country club residential development. I spoke to the attorney for the developer today, just briefly, just to kind of let him know that, you know, it's still percolating through us. And he said they're actually still working on an easement and some other property issues, so talked to him about having the attorney and the developer come to a meeting probably after the first of the year.
Very good. Well, we'll just probably pull that agenda item until such time as they decide they want to come.
You know, I just told him, you know, I don't think we're in a position to open the checkbook for him, but if he's, has a plan, we're certainly willing to talk to him, to listen to it.
Yeah, certainly, I agree. I think that we can't, you know, turn a blind eye to development, especially if the terms are such that we're not gonna be out a lot on the front end. And it's something that we can handle. Obviously, there'd be lift stations and things, and, you know, those aren't cheap, so.
Had you had any discussions?
No, the one thing, and I believe this is what John, with his conversation with their attorney, may be addressing, is that the properties that they've acquired to make their development contiguous with the city does not include all of the properties along Country Club Road. There's Ken Johnson, who lives on Whitetail Drive. So it's similar name to Whitetail Road name. They actually, there's Ken Johnson, then a neighbor next to that, that's the third neighbor where where the developer owns property, make the contiguity with the city, or excuse me, with the development property. So there's a question of that gap there on Country Club Road, if the sewer's gonna be run down Country Club Road, and they have to write easements, if they'll have to be widened, or if those issues, I think have to be addressed.
And I had questions about, I mean, maybe it's just better off to wait, but like, if we do decide to proceed with that, annex that development into city limits, are we then, I mean, is there any way to put in our annexation agreement on some sort of, I mean, do we want to take over maintenance of all the roads that they're building out there inside the development, and would that fall on us? That, and, you know, long-term costs for us in that effect, you know, things that.
With the annexation, it's required by law that the city would take over Country Club Road, and is adjacent with what's annexed. With what would be within that development, I would imagine that they're going to want the city to then accept a dedication of their own roads once they're built to standards. That's, to make them public streets rather than private streets that they have to maintain. I would assume that's what they would want.
That's what happened on the other side of the country club, that was private property, they didn't, at the time, over didn't want to include it. Then they wanted, and the roads were not up to snuff for that, the township dealt with that.
Well, we're a long way from 100 units being built out there.
Yeah.
No dirt's been turned that I
As I
know.
said, they'll never
Yeah,
get it filled.
and I don't know, I assume that the golf course is still selling.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are.
They're like a celebration.
Yeah, so, and I believe that was his plan from the beginning. This year is the 100th anniversary of the golf course, so we plan to maintain it as it is currently throughout all of next year. So I'm assuming that if there's any construction out there, it wouldn't start until 2024 anyway.
Okay. All right.
So just really informational, then next time, consideration of project authorization number 2 for phase 2, vision design for proposed city hall project. So we have a proposed architect agreement. Have you looked at that, Richard?
I didn't see any issue with it. I believe that, the questions are is that in this phase of the architect's project, that the timeline, the tasks, I know they have a dollar amount based on their total amount that they, or maximum amount that they have for this phase, and they indicated what's all included in those services. So I don't see any issue with it as long as it's agreed that that's what the architect should be doing during this phase and those tasks for that dollar amount.
So what's this phase get us to?
Well, the best as I understand it, this is going to help continue the sorting out of, in that picture board over there, what offices inside the building ought to go where, and understand better the flow of how people would come and go, et cetera.
I believe they said it would get us closer to some sort of like 3D model of, where everything, like you said, hallway spaces are figured out, because this current plan that they're in doesn't account for exact need on that
That's
kind
more
of
of a
thing. And
footprint kind of
more,
thing.
yeah, this is more of a location, adjacency plan, where it figures out what things we need to have next to each other.
They're over there. I was looking for them. Yeah.
And then the new one would have more of an exact location of stuff, or at least a starting point.
Well, that would give us a better idea of the actual square footage need, too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that one is for the second floor.
I think there's 2.
Yeah, there is one, but that colorful one, the light green or teal color is like the hallways. And then, but there is some, that's when they're gonna work on adjustment and stuff, but that looks like it's the second floor of the sign.
Second floor is behind the first drawing, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, God, they look igual then, they look about the same. There you go, that's the second floor.
The first one is
The first one
a lot
is, yeah,
bigger.
fire station on this side, the blue, the green is the city,
Well, the one on the left, our left, would be the.
the
you know,
police.
bottom floor, and the one on the right would be the top floor.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
All right, well, is there,
But it's just an idea, that's what they told us, they need to do more specifics with the square footage.
We need a motion, Will.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Second,
First and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, no? All right, that passes. Thank you. Any public comment? You want, Mayor?
thank you, that takes us to community relations chaired by Mr. Mike Austin. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. We have no old business, and under new business, we have a street closure request. And if you'll notice on the request form, I've talked with the police chief and the fire chief, and they both have signed so everybody is in agreement that this is good to go. So I'll accept a motion to consider this street closure.
so
So
moved.
moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Is there any public comments on community relations?
I guess I would just say that I'm always thankful for the work of the Public Works Department and Main
Oh, yeah.
Street, and their collaboration downtown, once again, looks really, really good.
So I think we
Sure.
should remind everybody that Friday is the lighting.
Yeah, Friday
Oh,
is
this weekend, yeah.
tree lighting.
And also, I mentioned it, Mike, we're gonna still do the kids craft thing
Friday night.
Yeah, be
They
there
want
at
to set up by
5 o'clock.
5:30, so if anybody could help, we're going to start setting up about 4:30. So we'll have everything ready. I'll meet with Sandra on it tomorrow, so. Thank you.
And Darren has done an awesome job clearing the stop signs that I requested him from the trees. So thank you. A little bit late, but I'm here.
Are there any other public comments? If not, Mayor, we can move out of community relations.
Okay, that takes us to public improvement by Mr. Mike Bastian.
Thank you, Mayor. We have nothing listed under old business or nothing listed under new business. Do we have any public comment? With that being said, we can close public improvement and move into public works.
All right, Mr. McCall?
It's under old business, the quotes on the permanent structures for the salt is without a floor between 90 and, 101, Darren? And you're gonna have 8-inch floor in there to dump it on. So the only thing we can do is research maybe building the floor and wall with a 10 over it or something. I'll let Darren talk to you about it.
There's a few other options we can still look into. This was just the first one. This is pretty much what every municipality uses, but there are some cheaper options that I was kind of waiting to hear from these folks before I researched it more, so.
Did you say between 90 and 100,000?
89,000 if they set it on the concrete blocks like you would see dividing a road, or it's 101,000 if they actually poured the walls that it's set on. And there wasn't an
That
option
seems like a
of
lot
us
of money.
erecting it, I guess. just for the warranty, they had to erect the truck. And like I said, I have seen some other things out there, so I was really waiting to hear back from you guys, and I'll dig into the rest of it, see what I can come up with.
Well, it's not a bad idea, but that seems like an awful lot of money.
A lot of money.
No more than, it seems like, of course, now that I say that, it's snow 2 feet next week.
I mean, is that something that we could do in like a process where we could, I mean, would we be capable of doing the pad by ourselves and then setting the pad up and then eventually building the walls around it and doing?
So if that was one of the options I'm gonna try to look into. I'm gonna be in and out for the next 2 weeks, so it's gonna be a few weeks before I can get anything real solid on it. I'll keep working on it.
And I'm sure it's like everything else, the longer we wait, the more expensive it will
Yeah,
be.
how do we cover it now with the tarp?
With a tarp.
Yeah.
And for how many hundreds of years have you been doing that with the tarp?
Quite a few.
Yeah, but has now become a real big problem?
We use
I don't,
5 to 6 tarps a year that
Okay.
are between $70 to $110 a piece. depending
okay,
on
so
what
we're,
size.
we're spending, few thousand versus 100,000.
This is completely out.
Yeah, I
really
think
going
so.
off. I think it's hardly way too much.
Yeah, I
If we're
agree.
gonna spend $100,000 on a building, I'd like to have a new building to put all our equipment in.
I was gonna say, wouldn't it be nice to put $100,000 into something besides salt?
Well, you'd think that till you got on the road. and
Well,
stuff like
yeah,
that.
you're right, you're
Then
right.
you say, where's them guys putting out that
What
salt?
the heck are they doing with that salt?
Would it work to do something to buy like a carport that they use for a camper that's tall enough?
Yeah, I
that we
wondered,
could get a
like
loader
those
under, but-
Quonset huts things.
The only thing is, it's gonna have to
Have size.
to have sides that you can push into and keep it from pushing out.
Right.
Okay.
Like I said, I did find one other option, I just didn't really look into it for now because I was wanting to hear something from this.
Some of those tents last, now they're gonna put a tent over the property down there, one
Under
up, when they do the
remediation.
cleanup. Some of those tents last years and years, storm blows something through them. We had one down at the firehouse when we redone it, and it worked real well. You still got the cost, your floor's gotta be thick enough to, I say 8 inches, because you gotta back a semi up in there to dump it. Your tent's gonna have to be high enough that they can get in there so far and raise it and dump it. And if you notice, all the states, they're more of an oval than, me and Darren talked about it. I don't know why they don't pull a wall straight, and a straight wall across the back, so you can get in there and get against the wall to get all the salt out. No way on that circle unless they got a bobcat, which we don't have. There's ways we'll look at it and see, figure out But the walls on the outside's probably gonna have to be 6 inches thick to keep the salt from eating them up and pushing a blade through them or something.
I think ComEd would give us a deal on a tent in about a year.
I was gonna say, don't you think we could get comments to? That's a
Right.
good idea.
Strange things have happened.
That's all under old business. Under new business is consideration of a handicap parking space on the lot behind SJ Properties. That is the first lot north on 14th to the right. That's a city parking lot. The one on the left is a township. So the only thing I said, if we vote to do this, which I can see us doing it, we need Darren to look that lot over and see, once we put in a handicap parking place, or else we're gonna have to make it handicap for a wheelchair to get down,
Into the road.
you know, because it's a flat lot, they can come right out on 14th Street on the sidewalk. And, but Will said they said they wanted on the southeast, was it?
It would be the southeast corner where they recently poured a wide sidewalk to get into the back entrance of the White House salon. They have a lot of customers there apparently that could use the additional access, and so I believe that's where they would want it.
I mean, it's not gonna take that much, it's just striping it out to make it handicapped, other than if you have to go to the east and build a handicap ramp down, you know, so I think that building is there, isn't it, and that, it's not on that parking lot, is it, Will, or is it?
No, it's
on the
On the one that we own.
it's on the one that we own, but they have already built, you know, accessibility from our parking lot into the back of the.
Okay, so we wouldn't have to worry about that.
No, they've already done that themselves.
So it's a pure fact that all we have to do, I guess, is stripe it. But now you're gonna lose, it takes 2 parking places to make your
Yeah.
handicap, so
Yeah.
you're gonna lose 1 parking place. But I don't ever see that lot that full except at Apple Festival and stuff like that.
Right.
Because you got the township parking lot, and you got, where the church tore down the house, they made a gravel parking lot there, plus a lot of parking there. And there is, I think, 4 handicap spots on the township parking lot.
Yeah, well, senior hall's right there.
But they'd have to cross the street and go up the sidewalk and cross at the red light if they park there.
Right.
And that's,
Because that's our lot, so it's a public lot, I mean, is that something that you could enforce, chief, like we put a handicap? Yeah.
well, you can even do the township lot too, can't you, for the handicap?
Yeah, if it's
Yeah.
in the city and zoned
Yeah.
under us.
I would. Anybody want to vote on this? Make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Is it just gonna be 1 handicap space, is it? So, okay.
Have a second?
I'll second his motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. Is there any public comment on Public Works? Hearing none, Mayor, we can move out. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. That takes safety, Russell's absence, I'll handle this item under old business. We have consideration of a 4-way stop at 21st and Walnut Street.
Is it Walnut or Wall?
Excuse me, Wall Street, and force a habit there. But the situation at 21st and Wall Street is that we have stop signs north-south, and I believe we have nothing east-west. And so the resident who lives there in the area had requested this. I know Mr. Bastian has looked at it. Mike, do you want to speak to this at all?
Yeah, I've looked at it. I don't have an objection of the stop sign. Heck up, Gary.
I drove
But I
with
did
my-
talk to,
you
I
know
did
how
talk,
feel.
I know how you feel, and you can, whatever. I did talk to the chief, and we have not had any accidents there for the last 4 or 5 years. However, it is highly traveled. It's right there on the corner by the ball field. So I'm going to make a motion that we put a yield sign going east and west. We have a stop sign going north and south. From Walnut all the way down to Gartside Street, going east and west, on every street, we either have a stop sign or a yield sign.
Except
And
for
since-
Wall?
Except for Wall. So since it's
That's the only one
the
that
park
does not
and we
have
have a lot of kids going back
Yeah.
and forth, or drove that as well, he checked it out.
I think we at least owe a yield sign there, unless everybody's in favor of a stop sign. I don't care. But I'd like to see either a stop
I know
sign
what Donnie
or
has.
a yield.
Okay, I'm trying to understand the picture. North-south stop, east-west yield?
Nothing.
The-
That's how all
What's
these,
there to yield if north-south is stopped?
Because
Somebody
they
runs a
fly
stop
through there in
sign.
case they run a
Well,
stop sign. yeah.
well, I know, but as you quote Gary, people zoom through anyway. But,
The yield sign might slow them down.
yeah, no, I understand that. But blowing in the wind, whenever that was made a park, there should have been a four-way stop at all four corners installed at that time.
probably
You know,
so.
but it wasn't. So anyway, to me, it's just a funny picture, north-south stop, east-west yield, but like you say, Gary, it might,
But then we
might
can
might slow them down.
make it a four-way stop.
Are any of the other corners on that, around the Longfellow Park four ways? None of them, three of them are. It is the only one that is not.
The one at Logan is four-way.
Yes,
20th Street.
I knew that Logan was,
How
and
about it, your
20th and Wall is
Logan, is it four-way?
And the other one isn't either.
20th and Wall is not, but the Logan Street ones are.
Yeah.
So two of them are and two of them are not.
Logan, 21st and Logan, it's not a four-way stop either.
Okay.
It goes.
I don't care. I mean, it's busy there, you know, and if it would be better for him to stop I'm okay
Chief,
with
do
the
you
stop
think the
sign.
yield right-of-way signs would work there?
I think since we haven't had any accidents, I think they would work there, but at the same time, because I think that's what the resident was wanting, was something to slow down people from.
East and
probably
west.
East and west, just flying out there and not doing nothing at all.
Right.
So either or will fix the problem, you know, to some point.
Well, evidently it's not been a big problem because of no accidents there, and the main thing is if you're protecting the kids crosses there, that's one thing.
And, you know, like he said, that is a deal with having four-way at the corner of the park is not a bad idea, so either or will probably
Work,
work
yeah.
in this scenario.
If we're gonna put a sign up, let's put a stop sign up.
Okay, I'll bring my motion back. I'll make a motion that we put a stop sign going east and west.
I'll second.
Okay.
All right, we have a motion and a
Thank you.
second to approve the request for a four-way stop at 21st and Wall. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
No.
All right. I'd ask for a roll call vote. How many do I have on this, Richard?
Just a stick to it.
Okay.
Alderman Hughes.
I want to say I don't care which one you do, but truthfully, I just want them slowed down, but aye.
Alderman Curry Witzman.
Yes.
Alderman Campos.
If they're gonna be happy, I'm all for it, yeah. I'm all for stop signs.
Alderman Austin.
Yes.
Kids around there.
Yeah, it's a park.
I worry about the children.
Yeah.
Alderman Pittman. Alderman Urbis. Alderman McComb.
No.
Alderman Bastian.
Yes.
Alderman Gladden.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it passed.
All right.
And don't you get mad when you get hit at that intersection.
Well, asked me, and this is God's truth. He said, are they gonna change that sign out there with city right possibilities to the city of many stop signs? I said, well, maybe we get that voted on.
Have you ever drove in your ward up 21st Street? Do you know how many stop signs and yield signs you
Yeah, and I didn't put them there.
There's a bunch of them out everywhere.
There are a bunch of them there.
Yes.
I don't know, I haven't
One.
been to 20th Street.
Put
I
one
drove
on,
up
take two
21st
away.
the other day, there's a bunch.
Drive through the city of Heron one time.
Oh, it's awful.
All right, we have no,
Well, I'm not bringing it in.
I think we need to stop.
under public safety, is there any public comment on public safety? Hearing none, I'll move into personnel chaired by Ms. Barbara Hughes. Barbara?
Thank you. There's no old business, Mayor, or no new business unless there's public comment under personnel. I don't have anything, and we can close that.
Thank you very much, Barb.
Thanks.
I don't have anything under the mayor's report that we didn't mention earlier about the tree lighting ceremony and kudos to the lights that are up downtown.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
So we'll go to a council member request. I'll go to Ms. Hughes.
Nothing, thank you.
Ms. Craywitzman.
I don't have anything, thank you.
All right. Ms. Campbell.
Nothing tonight.
Mr. Austin.
Nothing. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Ms. Hunziker.
Nothing.
Mr. Pittman. Mr. Urvis.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. McComb.
Yeah, I just tell everybody, keep their eyes open. We've had some tires slashed around town. I don't think you've caught anybody yet, have you, Chief?
No, they actually slashed two on one of our squad cars over by the park, and they were brand new. We just put on there 2 months ago.
Well, the new tires on the van, I think Terry Bryant just bought them, and they cut two of them on the parking lot there in front of the building. We're gonna put a camera angled that way. And I'd say that happened Wednesday night.
That's one.
And I think they got a county court too, didn't it? I heard that. Well, anyway, keep your eyes open when you see somebody out walking like that, and, you know, if they look like a shady carrier like Mike or something.
If they look anything like Donnie or Mike, get them.
Just let the police know they're in that neighborhood.
Well, one thing about it, they can't get away because they're going to have to stop. for them.
That's exactly right.
You think they're
Have
gonna
a stop
after
sign
cut
somewhere.
tires?
That's the only thing I had, Will.
That was good, Mike.
Thank you very much.
That's really good.
I have nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Glad.
Just a quick question, Chief, what park was that squad close to?
Over there by you,
Right down by your house.
on Wall Street.
Okay, that's what that activity was Sunday morning. Yeah, okay. Nothing, Mayor, I just wanted to,
Okay.
so.
Go to department head request, return to plate.
Nothing to report.
We have lots of riffraff.
Mr. Evans.
We have a lot of riffraff down
Chief
in there.
McBride.
Nothing, sir, thank you.
Bellmeyer.
No.
Van Waring. Ms. Volley. Mr. Lee. Mr. Glancy. Mr. Mills.
Don't know if anybody's been out by 7th Street, the road's starting to go away and they're starting to put a new base in, so good progress being made out there.
Today,
Yep.
All right, we do have an executive session tonight. We'll take a 5-minute recess and come back and go into executive session.
Hey, Darren, do you have a new date for that tree?